we are so happy to be joined right now via Zoom from Istanbul, Turkey. Aaron Nomaz, businessman and author of the book Donna Gracia, Women Who Led the Jews to Safety in Muslim Lands. Hello and welcome.
Thank you, Emily. I'm delighted to be with you on this show. It's my first appearance in Israel, so I'm quite excited.
It's really exciting, and I've had the pleasure of getting to know you over the past few months as, you know, myself, a huge student of Donna Gracia NASI, and this woman that was forgotten in history until recently, who really is the whole Istanbul Jewish community, big part of it to this day. You and your family are there because of this one woman, correct?
Donna Gracia, to my mind, is the greatest person ever. I'm not saying woman, I'm saying the greatest person ever. She's made such sacrifices for Judaism, for Israelites, that I can't imagine any other person in the history of Judaism that has done the same thing. I compared her with all the biblical characters like Sarah and Esther and Deborah and etc. She sacrificed her fortune. She was the richest woman in the world in the 16th century. She was partnered with the King of Portugal in the spice trade and valuable stone trade, which was the most important trade at the time. She accumulated a huge fortune. When her husband died, she was 25, and she used her fortune all her life to save Jews from the Inquisition. She sacrificed her womanhood. What does that mean? She never got married. She was a widow at the age of 25 with a huge fortune. You can imagine the suitors, one after the other, were trying to court her, and she could have any man she wanted.
Explain that she literally moved and saved people through multiple countries. Antwerp, she was in the UK, she was involved with Henry VIII, to Venice, to Ferrara, Italy, where she fostered female writers, ultimately getting to Istanbul. Explain this relationship with the Ottoman Empire and the unity they had with the Jewish people.
As I said, she became a widower at 25 with the biggest fortune in the world. And then, of course, she was partners with the Portuguese king, and the Portuguese king owed her money as a banker. What would the king do with a 25-year-old girl that is causing difficulties in his payments? So he decided to grab her fortune, of course. So they started to propose suitors to her. So the way fortunes changed hands at that time was that you marry her with an aristocrat. The man is in control of the fortune, and the king obviously gets the money through the back door. So she knew what the plan was. So she tried to escape from Portugal with all her fortune, telling the king of Portugal was her partner, look, an important part of my fortune is in Antwerp. Francisco's brother is in Antwerp, and he's our partner. So I have to get that money back to Portugal. When she became very rich, automatically again, Charles V owed her money, and she was very rich, very big banker. He wanted to grab her money. So what happened that his sister was the Queen of Hungary, Queen Mary, invited her to the palace with a letter. The letter was very formal, and Donna Gracia realized there's something fishy going on. She refused to go a few times, but the third time she would have been dragged to the palace because you don't refuse the queen. So she went to the palace, and the simple proposition was that Queen Mary had decided to marry her daughter, Anna, to the head of the Inquisition, a guy called Francisco, who was 50 years older than her. And Donna Gracia said, I'm sorry, I can't do that. And the conversation got very hot. She said, over my dead body, and she left. Imagine a woman, a Jewish businesswoman, refusing a queen.
But I want to explain the interesting thing is she was a converso, and she was the first one to really go back to becoming a Jew. She was allowed, the Jews were able, once they got to Turkey, they were able to go back and return to Judaism, to the point that even her own, nephew who married her daughter had to be circumcised in the wedding. Like, it was this important to even go to that extreme to return to Judaism. That says a lot too.
Absolutely. I mean, they always had Judaism in their heart. Her father was a doctor, and doctors at the time were allowed to have Hebrew books at home because the inspectors that would come, as they were very ignorant, they would know the difference between the Bible and the medical book. So she had the advantage of learning from her father and maintaining fragments of Judaism. In fact, the reason why she was nearly burnt at the stake and Suleiman saved her was that she was caught on a Yom Kippur day in the ghetto synagogue. And this was enough to prove that she was very Jewish, she was continuing her Jewish tradition. And she was a crypto-Christian. She was not a real Christian. So this was the main question why they burned people at the time. So, of course, then in Antwerp, she had this problem. She had to run away. Running away from Antwerp to Venice is you don't take the plane and go over. You go over the Alps. And she had to travel in the winter. Can you imagine?
Wow.
With her fortune, with her goods, crossing the Alps on donkeys and horses and whatever. And it was really a very, very difficult trip. Also, there was a chief inspector in Milan called Justing. He was catching all the Jews with their fortune running away from Antwerp, because Antwerp had become already very negative for Jews. Caught them, took their goods and punished them. Of course, Ferrara, Duke Ercole, was very close to Jews always. I heard from Emily that he was also...
Yeah, she authored the Ferrara Bible. She sponsored female writers as well.
In fact, Ferrara Bible, that's another very interesting story.
Thing.
But if we go into it, we'll finish it. Yeah.
Anyway, Aaron, we have to wrap it up because unfortunately we're out of time. But this is so interesting, and I know there's a lot more. We're going to delve into this, and hopefully I'll be able to get to Turkey at some point and see her life firsthand. But it's just so interesting because also she. There's theories that, she created the Tiberias Project. So she also got her son-in-law to Israel and bought land in Israel that even Shimon Peres referred to her as the first Zionist.
Exactly. In fact, she had her ideal all the time was to get the Jews in a land where they could administer themselves. They can judge themselves in the land. And when they came to the Ottoman Empire, and this is another fantastic story, it was immensely well received. Joseph Nasi had studied in Louvain University with Maximilian, the emperor to be. He studied together with William of Orange. So he was partners with the king. He lent money to the king of Portugal. He lent money to the king of France. So it goes. They're so powerful and so integrated. When they came to the Ottoman Empire, Süleyman the Magnificent was enchanted with him. Immediately he made him Sir, which is Frank Bey in Turkish. And then he made her the Lord of Andros, made him Lord of Tiberias, sold Tiberias. They literally bought Tiberias, gathered all the Jews there. They built the walls that are even today in Tiberias that would cost millions of dollars to do today. And they financed the building of the walls of Tiberias because you need a safe place to bring the Jews from Europe, from the Inquisition. So first thing they did, build the wall. Second idea of Nasi was to plant mulberry trees to make silk and make garments in the Venetian style and create some business for the Jews to enrich themselves in Tiberias. So of course, one thing I'm very sad that I never see her picture next to Theodor Herzl, because I respect Herzl, of course, very much. He saw the same dream.
Right.
But she dreamt that 350 years ago, and she sacrificed not only her life, her money, everything, in order. She even managed to get a land where she could gather the Jews. But the Jews during the Inquisition didn't like Tiberias, so they didn't. Right. It wasn't really successful. Then they tried for Cyprus.
We're gonna delve a lot deeper, and really, congratulations on getting the book written. It's Donna Gracia, Women Who Led the Jews to Safety in Muslim Lands. It's available on Amazon in English, and also it was translated into Hebrew, so it's also available online in Hebrew and, of course, Turkish. Meanwhile, we're gonna